Pigeons 420. Mr. Grow It. From the stack.
Step into the light of the future with AC Infinity's Ion Frame LED Grow Light. Powered by industry-leading Samsung LM301H EVO diodes, it delivers unparalleled brightness and efficiency. Designed for serious growers, it offers a full spectrum of coverage, precise scheduled controls, as well as innovative sunrise and sunset dimming for a natural light cycle. Its modular, easy-to-manage system ensures optimal heat dissipation and seamless integration with all the smart grow setups that AC Infinity already offers. Experience growth without limits and results that speak for themselves. AC Infinity's Ion Frame EVO Series lights illuminate your path to exceptional yields and dank quality. Learn more at acinfinity.com and use discount code THESTASH15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
Are you a grower? Are you tired of lugging around too many bottles? Is it too expensive? Is it so confusing? Tired of reading feed charts? Well, guess what? There is an easier way. Introducing the Stash Blend. You can now get your bag of Stash Blend premium additives that you can add to your garden using just about any base nutrients. Go to stashblend.com and get your order today. Welcome back, guys. We're trying to do From the Stash without using complete sentences.
Yeah, it's what we do at a certain point in Canada. I've learned this with the 24-hour clock.
Yep.
All
hey there, bud.
aren't necessary.
Hey there, bud.
It's just kind of what it is.
That's right.
This is applied science.
Guys, I want to give a huge... this episode's about you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone. We put a post out just a few days ago.
We put out a post?
a few days ago. So what was it?
Couple months.
October. No, it would have been October. Anyway, so I'm just... we put a post out on the socials.
Months ago.
And we asked...
years ago.
The
10
thing
years ago.
In fact,
Remember
this
back
is...
in Nam when we put out the questions?
In fact, this is episode 12. So we've been putting out questions on
11.
our socials for years. Episode 11. So first, huge shout out to everybody that follows us on all of our additional platforms.
On X.
We're on X.
On Instagram. On YouTube.
TikTok.
On TikTok.
Facebook.
On Facebook.
From the Stash.
FromTheStash.com.
Make sure you check that out because we, from time to time, we want to get your inputs. We decided for this particular episode, we were going to ask you guys what you thought we should cover in regards to questions that you had for us. And let me say, you did not disappoint. So shout out to everybody that's following us on all those platforms, specifically our patrons. Thank you guys because you guys answered the call as well. Thanks for all the new patrons over the last couple of weeks. It has been phenomenal to see the support. Thank you for supporting free independent media, creating great entertainment for you every single Sunday. So you want to dive right into it, boys?
Let's dive right into it. First question.
Slide right in. First question.
Going to me first?
Going to you first. Christopher, what you got, boy?
This one. This was kind of a hot topic here. We had Sly, a.k.a. Loco, ask on Instagram. And then we had... Sorry, well, hold on. I pull up my phone now. I'm stumbling here.
You may see it on the screen. Who knows how we edited this?
Yeah, who knows how we edited this. And then we also had somebody on Instagram, CE420, I'm sorry, X CE420, asked a similar question. Okay, so has any of the STF boys tested their plants for pathogens? If so, what were the results? That was from CE420. And then Sly asked, real similar, have you guys dealt with HLVD, hop latent viroid? I thought that we can group those two together.
Franklin Fields did.
Franklin Fields had hop latent.
They were in the news like shortly after. Yeah, it was a thing saying how bad it is in Michigan, and they were on the front page of USA Today. What great time as I'm not working there anymore to have that happen. But
hop latent viroid seems to be.
We sold you. We started this. We can't say words.
Thank you, boys. Seems to be a pretty popular conversation lately. It's been brought up a few times in my conversation or in my comment section. So I'm curious.
Am I wrong,
Chris? Can you speak on HLVD?
Hop latent viroid. It's a viroid, not a virus. There's differences there. It's a plant pathogen that really impacts the plant in a real negative way to where stunted growth, reduce yields, and it is abundant across commercial facilities and home grows. Commercial facilities, you're looking at 80+% of the facilities that have been tested positive.
They're all banging the same chick, dude. I'm telling you,
like it's kind of hard to know
what the same people.
Well, what the impact is there, but it's very easily transferable in different ways, from water to being a part of seeds to a whole list of ways. So that's kind of a quick recap.
So you said it was a pathogen?
So question answered.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Thank you, Slide. Thank you, CE, for your answer. Have you? Let
me answer it. I haven't dealt with HLVD, but I have got a test. Shout out Farmer Freeman. Although his tests are kind of expensive, I think it's like $50 a test.
They are not cheap.
But I had a plant which I thought had hoplite and viroid. It had a very distinct characteristic where the leaves were overlapping, and that is one of the characteristics of hoplite and viroid. And I got it tested, and it didn't have it. It was actually tested negative, so it wasn't actually. It was just the characteristic that came out of that phenotype there. So
it was a new genetic that you had,
or it could have been some other pathogen that I didn't test for. Obviously, it was just a hoplite and viroid test. So, yeah, I've gone through the testing process before. They take part of the plant. Some of these places take the root as well, and then you send it in for testing, and they tell you whether it's positive or negative. So, no, I haven't come across hoplite and viroid. Thankfully,
commercial space, it was always from the root ball where they wanted to take it from, and it's crazy because how it's noticed in the commercial space is COAs, your certificate of analysis, and all of your data. Because you're like, damn, we normally are getting 2.5 pounds of light on this plant. But the last 4 in a row, it's diminished more and more and more. There's no variables that have changed because it's down to a science. It's down to the T with the commercial grow. Like, but somehow, some way, we've lost 40% yield. Like, what happened? That's when usually it triggers the testing that comes into place. Myself, I haven't dealt with it. Been thankful, but in the commercial setting, I've seen it. To be clear, Franklin Fields didn't run into it like much at all until they got some cuts from other facilities and other people. That's where it comes into play. Is they don't realize they have it. They spread it around. This was the 80s all over again. Shout out Magic Johnson. He made it through. It's just dangerous because you don't know if you have it because it's not always visible. So it's like you kind of have to spend the money to get it tested. The big thing I've noticed with a lot of people is they're claiming, and I haven't seen it myself, that it's coming from seeds. So the source of where you're getting your seeds, like you can get it in seeds too. It's would be systemic then at that point.
Hereditary.
Hereditary. What would it be? What's
say it
the
again.
word?
I zoned out. Working.
The seedling. So the baby, the offspring.
Yeah. About
would it be? It's systemic then.
What the fuck about it?
He's like, what about it, man? He's like, I don't care. What it's answer Sly's question. Would the seed, the offspring of something that has HLVD?
Could it have HLVD? Yes, absolutely. It
so that's where people are being paranoid and thinking it's being spread around potentially intentionally.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something to almost be like, now we are the only ones with good genetics.
Hoplite and viroid is totally like, if you guys want to see a whole episode on it, comment down below. We have enough to talk about hoplite and viroid. That's a whole episode, and we should definitely do one of those.
Diseases,
I think it's overdue.
Diseases
to
in
do
general.
it. There's a lot to say. We have a couple experts that we could get on the podcast as well. So
yeah.
We're going to keep it moving with the questions here.
Good idea. Yeah, when Mrs. P and I first started dated, I was tested. Came back negative.
Good. Good. Still clean?
I haven't had HLPD.
Good. So, Mad Beats asks on Instagram, should you do drybacks in flower with organic living soil? If so, when in flower and how long?
What's a dryback, if
So
I may?
essentially, that's the time you allow in between watering to allow your plants, your roots to dry out without over drying. So your plant getting
Dry period.
Yeah.
Dry.
Drying back. So oftentimes, like 30% dryback could be the goal for a lot of people. Unless you have moisture meters.
Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Sorry,
so
one more time.
It's a way to, from what I've gathered with the crop steering side of things, this is a way to enhance like your roots for feeding. So it's like a contracting and expanding.
Precision stress technique.
Yeah, precision stress technique.
Roots in search of moisture.
And so doing this in organic media is a little more dangerous because you have life. And once you stop.
Can you? In organic? You can?
Some people do it.
Yeah, some people do it, but it's one of those things where if you're not utilizing a moisture meter, you're potentially risking killing off
you're
your
doing
micro.
it blind.
Yeah.
Without a moisture meter.
Yeah, you're doing it blindly, and you're potentially killing off your microbiology in like the environment, your ecosystem, because you don't want it to dry out. It's going to kill the microbes in your soil. So, and you're not completely kill. I've heard people like revitalizing it real quickly, and it's re-inoculating, obviously. You know, if you're going to water with some stash blend, you'll re-inoculate it pretty well, pretty quickly. But I've never seen it done organically doing drybacks. And I know it can be done, but I don't know if I would recommend it. If the bed, it's like one of those things you give and a take. by doing this organic, hands-off, guaranteed great battery of dankness that's growing your plants, the extra control that you have, you're sacrificing a little bit. That's where I don't know if I would do it. Kind of best of both worlds, like organic DWC. It can be done. It's a lot more complicated. What do you think?
Well said. I don't have anything to add to that.
Disagree fully. The thing is like if I would definitely do a dry back. Organic seems a little bit of an unknown. Thank you, sir. Because
Good luck.
there's a lot of organic matter that can't be dried out within your soil or within your environment, within your potting mix. So I understand that. However, for a good dry back, I would be utilizing a dry. If I'm understanding the term, because I've never heard dry back. That's just letting the plant dry out, right, and then bringing it back to life with moisture.
Medium, not the plant.
Yeah, you never want the plant to dry out.
Okay, so
that's a big difference.
Okay, so
If
then
that plant droops,
IPM.
You pooped.
IPM. So let's say you've got a little bit of a pest. We've recommended in the past a good way to get rid of maybe a small amount of thrips or a small amount of aphids or gnats. You can kind of take care of with a good dry
with a good dry back.
But we're referring to just a medium dry out, not a complete limp of the plant, correct?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. That's when that's not even percent stress anymore. That's just stress. That's oops, you effed up stress.
So when you say you're right. So when you say you're going to not do that without a moisture meter, you're going in blind.
100%.
You're trying to find that fine line before the medium dries out and then the plant suffers, right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your cue? Who you got?
You know what? When I for the dry back?
Next question.
Oh,
Do you have
one?
If not, I got one right here lined up and queued up.
One of the questions I had was, what's the difference between stash blend and recharge?
Ooh,
and we have actually answered this a few times, but many times, but it seems to reoccur, and I don't want to dwell on it.
Shout out to Scotty and the boys.
Huge shout out to the boys at Recharge at the Huge Do Grows, because those boys doing Recharge really answering questions with their product. Recharge is great for microbial growth. Yes, fantastic.
Benny's and then some.
Fantastic,
great product.
It is fantastic, and I highly
still
recommend
use it. I own
the product.
I'm an owner and founder and creator of Stash Blend, and I still use Recharge. And I tell people this.
Question is, what's the difference between Stash Blend and Recharge? You've got a microbial mixture where you have a comprehensive plant blend, comprehensive nutrient blend.
Yeah,
additive. Yeah,
additive.
Plant additive. The Stash Blend basically focuses as microbial inoculant on Recharge, but there is some nutrition in Recharge as well.
Right. Out of 5 boxes, Recharge checks 2, Stash Blend checks 4. You still need another. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That 5th box would just be your base nutrients. Stash Blend does microbial
so our difference
growth.
Is base nutrients
so
and
does Stash
Blend.
I just want to get it straight. I'm not trying to be disrespectful by any stretch of the imagination. Shout out to the boys; they're legends. Stash Blend does microbial growth. We've got the beneficial microbes. We've got beneficial bacteria that's actively taking nitrogen out of the environment. So we have that. We also have silica, mycorrhizae, acid, the
steep liquor, humic acid.
Thank you, humic acid. There's another thing. So when I say
there's some overlapping ingredients between the two, which I think is how people get confused.
Yeah, so I just want to say it's like there's a few boxes. So if you're looking to check these 2 boxes, Recharge is going to be an answer for you. If you're looking for the 4 boxes, Stash Blends for you. Get your base nutrients. You're satisfied.
We've got Dr. Pepper, right? They have Coke. Both colas. Both have very similar properties, but one has a totally different flavor than the other, and you may not need that flavor. Like me and Scotty were talking, and he broke it down. He was like, "You guys have like a more advanced level of a product where you got to know how you can mix and match this stuff." He's like, Recharge is not going to hurt you in any sense. I can just water it in.
That's a very fair statement.
And I was like, yeah, it's like
white difference between the two. Yeah.
White belt, blue belt, where it's like you need to know a little bit more before you jump into this, because you can harm your plants if you don't know what you're doing. As with Recharge, it's like, dude, you just wasted it if you did a little extra. Yeah. So shout out to Scotty and the boys. Very similar product in some areas, very different in other areas. They overlap because we have similar inputs and because microbes need to be utilized and beneficial bacteria need to be utilized. If you're not using this, use Recharge.
If Recharge and Trash Blend fought off in the squares of Madison Square Garden,
they'd end up creating a big faction.
It would be an incredible transformer. It would be an Optimus Prime.
Yep.
Anyways, that was my question. Sorry. Go ahead.
I've got a question.
Go ahead. You fire away. I'm looking for one.
A definitive answer here, and this is from Bruce Quinton. Can you guys please give an exact answer to a solution for purple stems outside of being genetic?
I missed the question. Sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
looking for a question.
Go ahead. I got one.
What a dick.
Sorry.
All right. Got to hear. This is a better way to do it because then I can click and highlight it. You know what I'm saying? So, Bruce Quinton on Instagram asked, can you guys please give an exact answer to a solution for purple stems outside of it being genetic? So, solution or causation?
Got the cause.
Nutrient deficiency.
Or light stress.
Can we just... this is going to go all
Or
day. Let's just sum
temperature.
this up. It's stress, baby. It's stress. Whichever. Let's light
It's
stress,
no matter
nutrient
what.
stress.
It's stress. Yeah,
whether you're training
nutrient
stress.
deficiency would be a stress, but it's what is doing it is tough because I had purpling.
We want an exact answer.
That's the tough part. Is that's saying why is my plant yellowing? Purpling stems and yellowing leaves have multiple things that can cause it. Deficiencies, 9 times out of 10, that's it, and that could come from something like a pH imbalance that you're not uptaking proper nutrients, or it can come from temperature stress or light stress, like I dealt with that donuts. The light stress I had purpling up top, or you're dealing with temperature stress. You know, there's so many variables that come into it. So giving the exact answer is tough without knowing all of these things. But
Could be a handful of things.
yeah, if it was a nutrient deficiency, can it bounce back from the purple? Can the purple, regenerate back to green?
What's the point?
Not like yellowing leaves back to. Well, the point is to revitalize your plant.
I'm sorry.
Provide the nutrition. That
Purple
it
stems
needs.
happen, man. That's kind of where I'm at.
Well, the thing is a lot of.
I guess if you weren't
a lot of it's genetic based, and he says he doesn't want to hear that. But that's the thing is a lot of it. If it's a who cares, it's genetic based.
Cold temps is another thing for purpling.
I'm training every single plant in my garden. They all
I
got
gave
purple
it
stems.
an exact answer.
They all got purple stems. I'm thinking if you were doing a Christmas tree style plant, you were feeding and you had purple stems. Well, I'm thinking it's genetic. It's clearly not stress at this point, so let's assume genetic. But again, what's the big deal? This is a comment that I used to get all the time. Oh, those stems are so purple, Pigeons. All of my stems are purple. I don't think I've ever grown a plant that doesn't have purple stems. I am beating the living daylights out of these stems. And it feels to me, and not forget about, I'm sure there's some science there. Forget about the science because I know I'm right. The thing is like when you get bruised, what happens? You turn purple. You turn purple.
Back.
And I'm thinking that the same thing happens when we are bending these plants and these stems and we're constantly stressing them. They bruise. Do the bruises go away? Sure, but I have never experienced a point where purple stems are hindering the job that I'm doing in the tent. You guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had it when doing.
Well, then I'm leaving. I'm going home.
But no, one thing I was gonna.
I have.
P.
We also grew in
one thing
cocoa.
that's different about P's environment is he likes very cool temps, particularly with the lights off. You're going into potentially the 50s at some point, right? 50s,
Yep.
low
Freedom units.
60s Fahrenheit,
So
and that is you're probably getting those from cold temps.
That's a very good point.
You're probably just getting it from cold temps, you know.
Okay.
A very good point. That's a very good point. I have purple stems. It's just kind of the way it is. It's always been that way.
Our purple stems is because we suck at growing.
If it wasn't, I'm actually looking
So
at
there's
mine
different
right.
reasons. To
Different
get purple
reasons,
stems.
man.
Like I've got two girls sitting here right now. Just have never
Plants.
touched them plants, and
Stems are green.
they are very green. I've never done anything to them. So I think
These are the first 2 green stem plants you've ever had.
Ever
Since
had.
you said ever.
Ever had.
Well, to be fair,
I'm just thinking the moment I go to bend them over and I go to beat them up, they're going purple.
could be stress induced. That's the thing is it. A lot of things are based on the genetics because with knowing the genetics, knowing the environment, knowing variables X, Y, Z, it helps you be able to get an exact answer and why and what and how. But otherwise, we're going to throw out 15 variables. Say maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a tough one. I wish we knew more, man. Pull up to a live stream and we do it usually every other Thursday on YouTube for the Mustache Uncensored. It's highly uncensored.
Yeah.
Because then we can go back and forth and get some more answers.
Yeah, we got a ton of questions.
What do we
So
got?
maybe
What's
we
the
can
next one?
shotgun a few and just give like rapid fire answers type
Rapid.
thing and try to get through a handful pretty quickly without going
Right.
too deep into it. One of them is, when is it generally needed to top dress with Dr. Earth nutrients? So Dr. Earth, I haven't personally run them, but I know that they're
Similar,
powdered,
yeah.
all natural. I don't know if they're organic, but generally with those types of products, you can actually follow what it says in the back as a recommendation. You don't have to do a half dose of an all natural or organic.
Sometimes you want a little
amendment.
more.
Sometimes
seen-
more.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes more than that. Generally speaking, I want to say around every 30 days, roughly.
Every 4 weeks is
But
exactly what I was
refer
going
to
to
the
say.
back of the label on that one.
And it's definitely
For
going
more
to be,
accurate.
you got to be able to read your plant a little bit though too. Just
That as
doing
well,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you may not even need to be doing it yet. You've got a cultivar that, let's say, grows longer than your traditional 8 to 9 weeker, and you're looking at, let's say, a GMO. You may have another dosage partway through, and if you're going to reuse that soil, it's not bad if you add more food to it. It's not like it would be with synthetic, where we're saying, hey, too much food, start flushing. You're going to have a partially amended soil that you can reuse the next time around.
Shout out to 2.0.0.0.0.0 underscore for that question. Thank you very much.
Man.
Sweet. Never used it. So.
All right.
Next one real quick. Let me fire off one more. Flushing. How do I know when my plants need flushing? He could probably answer that one the best, right?
Elemento.
I probably can't, but since I've read a lot of Mr. Grow It, I've got a pretty good idea on how to handle this. Sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Flushing. How do I know I need to flush my plants?
I really I'm going to shotgun this. When it comes to toxicities, I really only have one way of fixing it. Put water in the pot, man. I don't make this complicated. If it's deficient, you feed it. If it's toxic, you take the food away. By taking the food away, I flush. I add an abundant amount of water to the medium, typically 5 times. 5-gallon pot, that's 20 some gallons of water through the pot. That seems a bit excessive, so I'm just going to say this if I got a severe problem. So if you got an issue, if it's a toxicity, I'm going to flush it.
I think that's a valid way to put it there. I mean, flushing is not always, people think flushing is end of life flushing. Flushing can be stress
Didn't
related.
even think about
absolutely.
it like that.
Salt
Sorry.
buildup. Well, because there's salt buildup,
you're right,
there's
you're
a
right.
pH imbalance in your soil, and you want to kind of correct it in there. There's
Yep.
definitely a salt buildups from that. I've seen people have when you're salt buildups or pockets of salt, and that's where flushing will come into play very well there. Or again, I've gone through and done way too high or way too low of pH and been like, oh, I immediately went and flushed my plant because I didn't realize my meter was off.
Yeah, when you test a pH and it's off and seeing an issue with your plants, might be worthy of flushing at that point. If you're checking the ppm or EC and you're seeing where it's too much, where it's too high, where it's in the range it should be, but the plant is still struggling, at that point, you might want to consider flushing. And kind of that could potentially be a salt buildup, right? So 2 main reasons why I could think of like when to flush when it comes to getting like a problem or thinking that it's a problem.
Yeah, and that you're wanting to keep that plant around. You're willing to combat it to keep it alive, because it's not just tomorrow it's healthy. It's because you flushed it. You got to let the plant recover. Even if you got the roots cleaned off or the soil cleaned out, media cleaned out, the plant has to have time to recover yet. Because I made that mistake and then flushed again the next day, and I'm just waterboarding my plant. I'm like, get better. This is every day. Not letting it bounce back like I should have. All right, so we're shotgunning. Great question. Who was that from?
Oh, that was from...
That was in 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, 2.0.
Haste McDuck.
Haste McDuck. Haste McDuck. Nanu's Flower, shout out to him. The rapper out here made some dope beats out here. Had the homies shout outs. Shout out to him. He asked, what's the cushiest cultivar you've grown today? Looking for that old school dank. Brother. Have you heard of a strain called Headbanger?
Are we referring to Kush as in like a Kush derivative, or Kush as in like just some good
Cushy, danky, gassy?
Cushy as in like its growth, or Cushy as in, because I don't really think of Kush as a taste.
I do.
You do? Yep.
Yeah, when I think Kush, I think soily with a pine and with some gas. That's what I think Kush.
Okay, soily pine gas.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What do you think? What do you think, Kush?
I missed the question again because I was looking for another question. Ask that one more time.
I was listening. I
So
still forgot it.
Nanu's Flower asks, what's the cushiest cultivar you've grown today? Looking for that old school dank. Now, cushiest, would you consider that cushiest as in growth is squatty and bushy, or as in that flavored, that danky, cushy, earthy, soily, gassy, piney funk?
Like you weren't asking that biasly at all.
Yeah.
Is it good or is it bad?
I don't really have many. Can't think of a real good one off the top of my head. Yeah, skip me.
I've done OG Kushes. I've done quite a few
Hindu
Kushes.
Kushes. We
Well,
had
the
one of
OGs.
those.
Think about was it the Dreadnought OG?
Yep, It's funny that you said that. Dreadnought is a fantastic example of a quality, earthy, nasty, funky kind of smell to it. Good growth, kept squat. When it comes to you know what? This is where it's like it's hard for me to not just sit here and list off everything I've grown. It's hard for me to find the bad ones. If I'm looking for the good cushy ones, it's like I've kind of nailed it on 80% of them.
I'd say for me, Headbanger, of course. Anything that has a good sour diesel cross with it, but the Biker Kush that brings some of that in is good. Something to have the OG Kush kind of funk to it. The Holy Grail Kush was a good one from DNA Genetics. That was for Grower's Gauntlet pick. Very earthy, gassy, piney. It's got Kosher Kush crossed with OG number 18. So the flavor of it is just Kush gas. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. Period. And that would probably be my most because the sour diesel takes a little bit over with the gas with the Biker Kush cross with Headbanger. So I'd have to say probably Holy Grail Kush would be mine. DNA Genetics.
All right. Next question we got is, this one's kind of funny to me because they're asking here in 2024, why do people hate on DWC so much? Is it brain rot? I think that's I don't know what it,
brain rot, brain fog.
What do they mean by that?
Brain damage.
What do
We
people
live in a
hate
society.
Brain rot being like brainwashed. Somebody's perpetuated.
brainwashed? Brainwashed. Maybe that's what they meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or brain rot being dumb. People are stupid.
The funny thing about this question is warp back 15 to 20 years ago. And everybody was doing DWC and hydroponics, and that was the trend back then. And now it's flip-flop to organics. And now everybody's going towards the trend of organics, and now DWC doesn't get as much love. Hydroponics doesn't get as much love. So I think it's just a changing of a time and trends, and that's really what it comes down to. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came back, 5-10 years from now, where somebody figures out that, studies come out or whatever, proving that that's a better way to grow in some fashion, whether it be terpene profile, whatever, which there are claims out there of that. If there's more data that pops out, maybe we will see that trend switch from organic to DWC. Hard to imagine here in 2024, but you never know. It's just funny to see how trends of ways to grow come and go, become popular and go back down, and so on and so forth.
DWC superior, I'm just going to say it.
Well, and I think, honestly, hydroponic has a bad rep because people end up doing the Lucas formula, which is still good. Don't get me wrong, but it's a very simple, minimal system for feeding your plants. And you can do more. I have done more, and it's cost me a lot more money. But the results that I got speak for themselves. Like, you put the plants next to each other, and the difference is the hydroponic had bigger, fatter buds, and I vegged it quicker. The smoke was damn near the same. I think that's why I always get tripped up when I compare. Someone's like, you got to try organic, and I do it, and I'm like, this tastes the same. It smokes the same. It's the same stuff. Looks the same. But the difference is it was way easier to achieve with organic. And I think that's the big argument is there was a couple people who weren't as tech savvy or weren't as hands-on and good with the DWC side, and they found organic, and they're the most vocal. They're the vocal minority, as you've said. And they're just screaming like, dude, organic's the best. And those are those dorks at the grocery stores who are always like, I can taste the salt. No, I can taste the salt. I smell the salt. They morphed into the masses. And now I'm one of those people who's like, dude, just do organic. It's so easy. Just get some craft blend and stash blend and you're done. That sounds good, but there's a lot of benefits to DWC. Faster veg time, cleanliness. Again, if you potentially want to have a sterile grow so you don't have there's no media for your pests to live in that sense. You've got so many reasons why you do it and so many reasons why you wouldn't. Every version of why you do one is the same reason you wouldn't for the other. I think the counter argument is the give and take that one person prefers versus the other person.
Good question. Do we have another one? There's nothing I can add to that.
That was by TMNK Gardens. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for leaving that question on our X account.
I've got a question. This is from one of the Boeing Jet Boys, Mr. 420 Things, Mixington. If you had to do, and this could end us out for the episode. If you had to do, I want you paying attention for this too, Chris. because you're the only one who has experience here. If you had to do one karaoke song in front of 10,000 people without words on the screen, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm not really a big karaoke person.
What? I always took you for
I
a
would
karaoke
say
guy.
The Real Slim Shady, Eminem.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I was going to pick Eminem and Dre, Still Dre.
I would do Today Was a Good Day.
I could do every word without the words. Oh my, I'm so funny that we all pick within the same. That's so hilarious.
We're old.
Great question.
We're old.
Great question.
We're
Older
getting
songs
there.
are
Bro, it's like,
20-year-olds.
what's an old
Fine.
song I
What
can
did-
listen to?
Yeah. Dang,
No.
that was good.
I think it was good. Shout out to everybody who left those questions. I want to do these episodes more often. It's tough. I like to do them live, but I feel like we aren't able to take as much time to get into the questions because we feel obligated to keep up with the chat. So we're going to look at the comment section, and we may use those for a follow-up video. What do you guys think? If there's some good questions down there that could lead to another one, another Q&A, let us know what you think and what you'd like us to discuss
you guys-
or give our 2 cents on.
You guys really turned up for this, and we really appreciate it because we got more. We have so many more.
I know. We
could
have
keep
more,
going.
and I'm sorry we didn't
And
get to them, but we'll get to them
We're going to because we're going to do a part 2 to this. But I want to thank you guys
like
for
a part 8 of our Q&As.
That's fair. We've done a few of them, but thank you guys so much for being a part of these. Thank you guys for listening to us when it comes to our posts and our questions. And a huge shout out to our patrons, man.
Patrons. Thank
Look
you.
at that.
I'm
Thank you
rubbing
guys. Patreon.com/FromTheStash. Checking out exclusive content, behind the scenes and stuff that you won't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
I guess that's what exclusive means, including early releases.
Yeah,
So,
speaking of,
that's
we're going to
what
have
you're
some new merch coming out, dropping soon. But in the meantime, in between time, we have some pretty nice shirts here, stashmerch.com. Check it out. Get yourself some gear. Big shout out to Wink on the 1s and 2s.
Thanks, Wink.
Make sure you get yourself some Stash Blend. And if you need any AC Infinity gear, use discount code TheStash15. This is Rob from CLtv, Pigeons 420, Mr. Grow It. We're from the stash.
are from the stash.
From the stash.
That's pretty good.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Peace.
Take it.